Hi, I'm Cody Crab, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 mistakes that editors always make when they first start out editing their podcast. Now, I've been editing podcasts and video for a really long time, and I have gone through hundreds of episodes at this point. When I'm helping other people get started, I tend to notice the same issues crop up again and again, and I notice kind of 3 big ones. Obviously, there are more, but these are ones that can really affect your workflow and make things sound a lot better right off the bat. So number 1, the first thing is let your words breathe. A lot of times editors will cut things, they will chop things out, but they won't take the time to space them back out again. Sometimes cutting out a filler word or a sentence doesn't leave enough room for a natural pause. Listen to me talking. Every time I finish a thought, I often have a short pause after I finish my sentence. If you're not getting those pauses when you're editing, you need to actually add them back in. The person you were editing probably had them when they were speaking, but if you cut enough stuff out, it doesn't sound natural anymore. And along with that, maybe 1A, we can call it, is disguising edits as you do them. This can be done lots of different ways. You can mash words together so that they fade over each other. You can do fades in and out. You can leave spaces between. You can even sometimes get words from other places that match a little better. All that can get really complicated, but the main point is the best kind of edit is one that you cannot spot once it's done. It's completely invisible. Sometimes we need to make compromises when we're editing. We can't always make everything perfect, but that's the ultimate goal. Number 2 is actually a weird one. It's being too afraid to cut too much stuff. Now, I know that sounds a little silly because editors, that's pretty much all they do. They're just cutting things out. But in my experience, that's not actually the case. A lot of editors think, I'm going to cut the filler words and I'm going to maybe, if anyone messes up or starts over, I'll fix that. But they don't cut anything else. They don't cut big chunks of text or sentences or paragraphs. And when you're an editor, that's actually pretty crucial. A lot of people will say a thought and then they'll say it again, or they'll lead up to a thought in a few sentences and then they say the actual thought. The important thing about editing is you're editing for content flow and not necessarily just cutting out filler words. You're making everything as clear as it can possibly be in the way that it was sent to you. Sometimes the clearest thing you can do is cut a sentence or two or an entire paragraph. Your instinct is going to be, but they're going to miss out on stuff. They're going to miss out on things. I promise you, you cut enough stuff, it's actually going to be just the best. If you have 30 minutes and you cut it down to 15, that's going to be the best 15 minutes that you recorded. And isn't that better anyway? Isn't that really ideal? You get the best case scenario, the best content out of the entire episode. And number 3, this is a really specific one, but this is one that I hear all the time. A lot of times new editors will notice a lot of the big stuff like the filler words and things like that, but they will neglect the really small stuff. But it tends to be really noticeable when you're listening through earbuds or in a podcast setting. And the number 1 example of what I'm talking about is someone cutting off a breath, which sounds like this. Doesn't sound great, right? It's really choppy and it's jarring, and you can tell that something was edited. Now, back to rule 1. Remember, if we edit something out, we want to disguise it as much as we possibly can. So make sure if you are going to cut a breath, or if you're going to make a cut at all and there's a breath in there, make sure to fade it out. Make sure to tighten up the end there so that everything can just be really smooth. Those are the top 3 mistakes I tend to see new podcast editors make. And I definitely have some more, so I'll be making more of these videos in the future. If you have one that you've seen or that you want some help with, go ahead and leave that in the comments. I'll be happy to help you out with that. Maybe I can make a video on the thing you're talking about. So leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, and like this video if it was helpful. Thanks so much, and I will catch you next time.